Today on Upfront, starting over. Lawmakers start from scratch on the state transportation budget. Next, Representative John Nygren on the changes they're making to the governor's plan. And is there tension with the governor behind the scenes? Plus, meet the 25-year-old Stanford physics grad who's running for Wisconsin governor. And a former governor's personal story of how Alzheimer's disease affects a family.
It is the most difficult, and that is to let go of your first loved one.
Marty Schreiber on caring for his wife Elaine and the book he's written about their journey.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Upfront. Members of the legislature's Budget Writing Committee will be traveling the state again next week, listening to the people weigh in on the next two-year spending plan. But some differences with the governor's proposal are surfacing, with Republican lawmakers at odds over key portions of the budget plan. The Joint Finance Committee stripped 83 non-fiscal policy items from the governor's budget proposal and said they wanted to start over on the transportation portion of the budget. Meanwhile, the governor is directing more money towards transportation, which has been a sticking point between him and the Assembly's Republican leadership. We're talking about all of this today with Republican State Representative John Nygren of Marinette, who is the co-chair of the Joint Committee on Finance. Representative, it's good to have you back on the program.
Always good to be here.
So let's talk transportation right off the bat here. And give me your sense of where we are in this discussion. Where is your body? Where is the Assembly right now?
Well, the Assembly's long-term position has been, there's been a $1 billion shortage identified based on needs and revenues. Our situation has been, we wanted to find a long-term solution. There's some that have, even within our own caucus, that have concerns about the audit that came out recently that showed some shortcomings in the DOT operations. We are in favor of taking any type of revenue or any type of reform that we can possibly find savings in and implement it as part of our budget. But even having done all that, there's still going to be a significant shortage to fund projects moving forward.
So what is the position of Republicans in the Assembly going forward? You want the governor to, live up to his original promise that if you can find some dollars to cut, you can then raise revenue?
Representative Dale Koenga has actually been charged by myself and the Speaker. He's a member of my committee. He's my vice chair, to be able to look at the transportation funding from top to bottom, but at the same time meet that original line in the sand that the governor drew on. If we're going to see any increased revenues, we're going to do it with offsets and other tax cuts. Not only are we going to look for offsets and other tax cuts, we're looking about long-term tax reform, not just a 2-year budget cycle fix, but long-term changes to our tax code that'll make us a much flatter tax rate.
So the governor seems to have moved that line. He has said, I think in a tweet, that he's going to veto any gas tax increase.
Right. I mean, we're well aware of the governor's position, but I think where we're at is we're going to try and develop a plan and then take it to the people and take it to the governor, and hopefully the governor will see the value of this plan as a long-term solution. We don't see this as a 2-year issue. We see this as a long-term issue, and the Assembly's position, we'd like to find a solution. Is
it possible to have a long-term sustainable plan for transportation without some kind of revenue increase?
My personal opinion, I'm not speaking for my entire caucus, but I do believe revenues have to be part of that equation.
In order to make sure everything is funded down the road in the future.
Correct. I mean, just look at our we've been, unfortunately, even Governor Doyle and now Governor Walker has been relying, I would say, from over extension on our bonding. We're at the position right now where 22 cents of every dollar that comes in for transportation revenues is going to debt service. That's just eating up the dollars that we have to pay for the projects that we need today.
Well, let's touch on a few other pieces of the budget. You've got 3 more public hearings this week, but give me your sense of how you feel about some of these big key provisions in the governor's budget. First of all, the tuition cut the governor's proposed. What are members saying?
Myself and I think the members of our committee and Republican Assembly members, we believe that $35 million, that's what the cost would be to cut tuition by 5%, would be better served taking a portion of that and utilizing that for grants and other aids for our students rather than looking at a reduction. We've been with him up to this point on the freeze. We believe that has already been a reduction in tuition, but the cut is not something that we believe that other taxpayers should still continue to really put more dollars towards the UW and buy down that tuition artificially.
The governor's talking about a $649 million increase in spending for K through 12 education. Can the state afford that?
I do believe that the Assembly's position will be that we will look to try and get as close to the governor's position on education funding as we possibly can. There is, to be clear, it's about $500 million in spendable dollars for education. There's also about $150 million that is used to buy down property taxes statewide. I do believe the dollars in the classroom is something that we're pretty close to. We might look at different ways to divide it up. There's a lot of school districts throughout the state that spend well below the state average and have been very frugal with using all the tools of Act 10. We want to incentivize school districts that are doing it the right way.
Self-insurance, you've said personally that you're skeptical over this plan to have public employees self-insure. Do you continue to feel skeptical about that?
Yeah, my position on this has been, my background as a health insurance agent, I'm not against self-insurance. I think in the right situation it works well. But the difference is the largest risk that we as a state have in developing a state budget is that our revenues don't meet our projections. Adding more risk, because what happens in a self-insured plan, rather than paying a monthly premium to an insurance company who now accepts the risk, the state takes on that risk. There could be years where you save a significant amount of money, but there could also be years where you lose a lot of money too. So the one thing with a fully insured plan, we know what our costs are. I would be in favor of looking at our plan design, which is the actuarial value of our health insurance for our state employees, as a way to look for savings.
Final question, I've got about 30 seconds left. How would you describe the relationship right now between people in the Assembly, Republican members in the Assembly, and the governor? There's been a little back and forth between Speaker Voss and Governor Walker. How would you describe it? Is there tension there?
I'm not sure I would call it tension, but what two people are ever going to agree on everything? We're all Republicans, yet I don't agree with the governor and where he's at on transportation. The Speaker doesn't either. I think what we are looking for is an opportunity to put a plan together without necessarily the governor coming in saying right away, no way, no how. Let us go out and prove it to not only him, but to the people of the state of Wisconsin before we weigh in that you're completely against it.
State Representative John Nygren of Marinette, the Republican, who is co-chair of the Joint Finance Committee. It's good to have you back on the program.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Later on up front, I'll be talking with the only declared Democrat in the race for governor, a 25-year-old Stanford physics graduate with an 8-point plan for the state. But first, a former Wisconsin governor speaking out on Alzheimer's disease. Marty Schreiber joins me to talk about his wife's illness and the book he's written about it. That's when Up Front continues.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company.